You said something in the meeting. Nobody looked up. The conversation just kept going, like your voice landed in water and sank without a ripple. Then 10 minutes later, somebody else says almost the exact same thing, and suddenly the room nods. Great point. And you sit there thinking, I literally just said that. Here's the part that stings. It wasn't your idea that was weak. It was something underneath the idea. Something they could feel before you even finished your sentence. And until you understand what that something is, you can be right 100 times and still be invisible. So let me ask you a harder question. What if the respect you keep waiting for was never going to be given to you? What if it was always something you had to carry into the room before you opened your mouth? Stay with me, because the next 10 minutes might change how you walk through a doorway for the rest of your life. I want to be honest with you up front. This isn't a pep talk. I'm not going to tell you to stand up straight and fake confidence in the mirror. That stuff wears off by lunch. What I'm going to walk you through are 8 ideas the Stoics understood 2,000 years ago about presence, about bearing, about the kind of respect that doesn't have to be demanded because it's already obvious. And I'm going to show you how each one actually works inside your nervous system in real life today. If you've been feeling talked over, overlooked, easy to dismiss, this video is for you. Subscribe to the channel, because around here we don't treat Stoicism like a quote on a coffee mug. We treat it like a tool you pick up and use. Now let me tell you about a man I used to work for, because everything I'm about to explain, I learned from watching him before I ever read a word of philosophy. The summer I was 19, I swept floors at an auto repair shop owned by an old guy everyone just called Sal. Sal wasn't big. He wasn't loud. He had this slow way of moving, like he'd already decided the day couldn't rush him. And here's the thing I couldn't explain at the time. People deferred to him. Customers who came in furious would be calm within 2 minutes. Younger mechanics who mouthed off everywhere else got quiet around him. Nobody told them to. It just happened. I spent that whole summer trying to figure out what he had. It took me years and a lot of reading to finally name it. So let me hand it to you a lot faster than I got it. Most people think respect comes from making a good enough case. So they over-explain, they justify, they add 3 reasons to a sentence that only needed 1. Watch what that actually signals. Every extra justification quietly says, I don't believe this will stand on its own, so let me prop it up. People feel that. Over-explaining is the smell of someone asking permission. The Stoics drew a hard line between what's yours to control and what isn't. Your reasons are yours. Whether someone accepts them is theirs. When you truly internalize that, you say your piece once, clearly, and then you stop. You let it sit there. Sal never argued with a customer about a repair estimate. He'd tell them the number, the reason, and then he'd just wait. No scrambling. The silence after he spoke did more work than any pitch ever could. Here's what almost nobody notices. A person who'll explain themselves forever is a person you can wear down. A person who says it once and lets it stand is a person you have to deal with. Think of your movements and your voice like the current in a river. Panic moves fast and shallow. Depth moves slow. When you rush, when you talk quick, fidget, fill every pause, your body is broadcasting that something has its hand around your throat, and the something is usually the fear of how this is going. The Stoic idea here is self-command, not over the world, over yourself. The one kingdom you actually rule is the space inside your own skin, and the first border of that kingdom is your tempo. Slow your speech by maybe 10%. Let a half-second of silence exist before you answer a question instead of leaping on it. It feels unbearable from the inside, like the world is waiting and judging. From the outside, it reads as, this person is not afraid of this moment. Sal answered every question after a pause. As a kid, I thought he was just old and slow. He wasn't slow. He was sovereign. We're terrified of silence. A gap in the conversation feels like a failure we have to fix, so we rush to fill it, and we usually fill it with the weakest thing we have. But here's what almost no one realizes. Silence isn't empty. Silence is pressure. The person who can sit comfortably in a quiet moment is, in that moment, the strongest person in the room. Everyone else is uncomfortable. You're not. That asymmetry is power. The Stoics practiced restraint not as repression, but as choice. The gap between feeling the urge to speak and actually speaking is where freedom lives. Reaction fills the gap instantly. Response uses it. I watched a guy once scream at Sal over a bill, really lay into him. Sal just let him finish, didn't flinch, didn't interrupt. And when the guy ran out of steam, because they always run out of steam, Sal said one calm sentence, and the fight was just over. The silence had absorbed the whole attack. Now you might be thinking, okay, but I can't just not care what people think. That sounds cold. That sounds arrogant. Hold on. There's a difference between not caring about people and not being controlled by their approval. You can deeply respect someone and still not need their applause to feel okay about yourself. The Stoics called the externals, reputation, praise, other people's opinions, things not up to us. Not because they don't matter at all, but because if your inner peace depends on them, you've handed the remote control of your own emotions to strangers. And here's the trap. The more obviously you chase approval, the less you get. People can smell the need. Neediness repels respect the way the wrong end of a magnet repels another magnet. The man who doesn't need the room to like him is paradoxically the man the room respects. Sal didn't perform for anybody. He wasn't rude. He was warm, actually. He just wasn't auditioning. And you could feel the difference in your bones. Picture your composure as a fortress wall. Most days it's fine. The test is what happens when something hits it. An insult, a setback, someone trying to provoke you on purpose. This is where everything you've built either holds or collapses in 1 second. The Stoics had this image of an inner citadel, a core part of you that no external event can actually breach unless you open the gate from the inside. Someone can attack your work, your face, your name. They cannot reach the place where your judgment lives. Only you can let them in. So when someone tries to rattle you, understand what they're really doing. They're testing whether they can move you. If your face changes, your voice climbs, you take the bait. They found the gate. If you stay level, they learn there is no gate. And people stop poking at walls that don't move. A young mechanic once tried to embarrass Sal in front of everybody, made a crack about his old methods. Everyone went quiet, waiting for the explosion. Sal just looked at him calm, almost kind, and said, "You might be right," and went back to work. The kid had nothing. You can't fight someone who won't pick up the rope. Here's something humbling. People read your body before they hear a single word. The slumped shoulders, the eyes that won't hold contact, the nervous hands, those have already spoken by the time your sentence begins. This isn't about puffing your chest out, it's about congruence. A scattered inner world leaks out as a scattered body. A settled mind sits in a settled body. The Stoics understood that virtue isn't a private thing. It shows. The character you build on the inside eventually wears your face. You can't fake this for long, which is exactly why it's trustworthy when it's real. So the work isn't to perform a posture, it's to genuinely calm the inside and let the outside follow. Plant your feet. Let your hands be still. Hold someone's gaze a beat longer than feels natural, not as a challenge, just as steadiness. Sal had hands that never fidgeted. Whatever was happening, his body said the same thing. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing about this is an emergency. We think presence means being seen. It's actually the opposite. Presence is the quality of your seeing. When you talk to most people, they're half there. glancing at their phone, loading their next sentence, waiting for their turn. So when someone gives you their full, undivided attention, really looks at you, really listens, it's so rare it feels almost like being respected. Because it is. The Stoics taught attention to the present moment as a discipline, this breath, this task, this person in front of you, not the swirl of everywhere else. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own because you only get so much of it in a life. And here's the strange flip. The person who pays this kind of deep attention to others becomes magnetic. Not because they performed, because they made the other person feel real. When you talked to Sal, you had all of him. He wasn't drifting. And people would tell that old man things they wouldn't tell their own family. Because being truly listened to is so rare it feels like a gift. And this is the one that holds up all the others. You can learn the pauses, the posture, the steady eyes, the techniques. But if there's nothing real underneath, people eventually feel the hollowness. Technique without substance is a costume, and costumes slip. The Stoics were blunt about this. The foundation of a respectable life isn't image, it's virtue. Doing the right thing when no one's watching. Keeping your word when it costs you. Being the same person in private that you are in the room. Here's why that creates presence. When you actually respect yourself, when you know your own conduct holds up, you stop needing to extract respect from everyone else. The desperation drains out, and what's left is calm. That calm is the thing people read as authority. I finally figured out what Sal had, years after that summer. It wasn't a trick. He was just a man who'd made peace with himself by living straight. The respect didn't come to him from the outside. It came out of him. So go back to that meeting. The idea that sank, the voice nobody heard, it was never really about the idea. It was about everything that idea was sitting on. The rush, the over-explaining, the need for them to nod, the gate left open for anyone to walk through. You don't fix that by talking louder. You fix it by becoming someone who doesn't have to. And the wild part is, none of these 8 things require you to change your face, your job, your height, or your personality. They're all inside the wall. They're all up to you. Which means the respect you've been waiting on from other people was, this whole time, sitting in a room you already had the only key to. So here's what I want you to sit with after this video ends. In the last week, where did you give your power away? Where did you over-explain, chase a nod, take the bait, fill a silence you should have let breathe? Don't answer fast. Let it land. Then tell me in the comments, what's the one place in your life where you keep waiting for respect to be handed to you when it was yours to carry in all along? I read those. They matter to me. And if something in here moved a little, subscribe and stay. We're building something quiet here, a place to get stronger on the inside, where it actually counts. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.